Welcome back to the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine. I'm Solomon, that's Brian, and here with us today we have Dan and we have another Brian, right? So we are here. Why don't you let us know your team name and who you are, and more importantly, why you're doing this event this year?
Brian, you want to start?
All right, yeah. So we are Where Are the Cones? Namely because Dan and I first met back when we autocrossed early on our autocrossing, I say career. But so seeing that there is only one autocross in this whole thing, it's like, hey, where's the cones? And that, because we couldn't come up with anything better. I'm Brian Huber, and I am Dan's enabler. Pretty much everything he's done since he started autocrossing is my fault at this point. With the exception of time trials, I got him into one lap last year after I did it, and he decided to text me constantly during last year's one lap for information. So now he's here.
Welcome. And Brian? I'm sorry. We know Brian.
Yeah, I've been autocrossing for 22 years, and met Brian through autocross. I've done nationals many times, national tours, pro solos, match tours. Got into track days, and figured one lap is going to be kind of a combination of all of those, and a really cool platform. I did want to. We made plans to go to this year far before last year.
Excellent. Now, I noticed you have an Audi zip up on there, but you're running a Corvette. So are you working with Audi at a dealership?
Yeah, I'm a service manager with Audi.
Okay. What dealership?
I did ask Brian. I've got an S5 as a daily driver, so I did ask him if he wanted to take that one, and he wants to stick with the Corvette. So
excellent. And what dealership and what part of the country are you at? Give you a little shout out there in case you have anybody.
Washington, PA.
Washington.
Audi, Washington.
Okay. Very good. So, Brian, you have any questions? My Brian, not your Brian.
Yeah, I got a question for Dan's Brian. So Brian, you did the event last year with Tracy Ramsey.
Yes.
And his Cayman. Are you looking forward to having more leg room this year?
I have to tell you, that car was the most comfortable that I ever expected it to be. The carbon race seats in that, both of us were completely shocked by the long stints, even like Barber to Hallett we got out of it, and no pain whatsoever. It was actually a really fun car, very easy to commute, and I had never even been in that car, even sat in it until sticker day. So that was a bit of a overwhelming experience.
Excellent. So obviously in this group, you've got a new and a veteran here. We've got a lap pup and a veteran. So from the veteran standpoint, what are you looking to change this year potentially? And from the lap pup standpoint, what are you nervous about or anticipating the most this year?
Go ahead, Dan, you go first.
He can change his answer.
I guess in the lap pup section, I've done a lot of competitive time trials. Many of the tracks that we're going to, I've been to before. So I'm looking for it on more of the camaraderie and just enjoying the experience and being there with a new group of guys that I've not met before, and new cars, and looking forward to the transits actually, and kind of everything that happens off the track.
There's many shenanigans, and you'll find that out soon. Okay.
As far as me, I'd say I'm just looking to be more of a contributor. Last year, since I really didn't have all that much track experience, I was sure as heck not going to go out in Tracy's car and take any risks. So I was more than happy just to be a transit driver and soak in the whole experience. I did the autocross and both of the skid pads last year with him. And it was a lot of fun. And I did a lot of the transits, and my wife would tell you that I am not a speeder. And so that was getting Dan's laughing because he knows.
And how
my
much did
wife.
she pay you to say that? I mean, how much have you paid her to say that? I mean, is that
No, she would harp on me saying you need to be more comfortable. You need to be more comfortable, going at speed with the group and everything. And Tracy would actually text her and say, "Hey, you'd be proud of Brian. He actually is keeping up with everybody." So that was the biggest hurdle for me last year, getting comfortable
the
in the
pace?
transits with everybody. And I have no problem with the long drives. I used to do a lot of that, so that's not a problem for me. But yeah, it's going to be a fun trip this year.
I think there's just
Our
something with
first,
Brian.
long drive together. We did a drive when nationals, solo nationals were still in Topeka, Kansas, like 15 years ago. And Brian was driving a Z06 at that point, and we did the entire trip at 55. It was the most grueling highway trip that I've ever been on.
Yeah, I was towing.
Fantastic. Brian, my Brian.
So tell us a little about, Dan, tell us a little bit about your Corvette, what you've done to prep it for one lap, and what tires are you running this year?
Well, the car's mostly stock. It's prepped for a stock class, an autocross. So other than many problems that we've had in the last couple of weeks with the car with ignition, it really wasn't much preparation in going from time trials and autocross to one lap. We're running the Goodyear supercars. Just again, because that's what I run for time trials. I'm very comfortable with the car on those tires. I know what to expect out of them as far as wear and mileage. Brian also has a Camaro that runs those tires, so he's familiar with them as well. So we'll just cross our fingers that the R word's not going to come into play.
Well, let's hear.
He
Yes,
doesn't know that all that well.
Yeah. Yesterday we had a reason why it wouldn't come into play, and now we have a reason why it will come into play. So, yep, cancel that one out.
Right.
Well, do you guys have a plan for splitting the driving? I mean, because obviously both autocrossers, and I mean, are you guys going to just battle it out on the second event of the one lap this year, and then whoever's left over will do the rest of the driving? How's that going to work? How are you splitting the track duty?
I'm really kind of leaning on him for the Nelson Ledges track session because that's going to be the first that we're at, and providing that it's dry, that'll help seat us. He's got a lot more. I don't have any experience on that track, and he's got a lot on there because I used to live in Pittsburgh. He's from there, so it's a lot closer. And I think beyond that, as long as the weather isn't a factor, we're going to split evenly. If it's raining, I really don't want to take his car out on the track.
Understandable. Very good. Brian?
So Brian, a little bit of a comedic question. Living in Knoxville, have you learned all of the words to Rocky Top yet?
No comment.
That's yeah.
No, actually, I've not. I'm the guy that really screams loud, "Woo!" Whenever it's time for that. That's about it.
Now I see the drum set behind you. So
Yes.
before we go, you're going to have to give us either a drum roll or at least something to get us out here, because all of our we've been devoid of music in every single interview that we've done. I have guitars to my right, so we can do something on the one lap then.
Well, unfortunately, there's no real heads on them. They're all practice heads, so they don't make any noise. They did really.
Disappointment right here.
Yeah, I know. My dog
So
really is
Brian,
not. My dog is really not thrilled with the loud noises, so I put practice heads on it.
Okay.
So Brian, speaking of the drums, who is your favorite drummer and why?
That's the tough one. I'd have to say right now, Gavin Harrison, who's a drummer for Porcupine Tree, Pineapple Thief, King Crimson. He's my biggest influence right now. Overall, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater fame and all his various bands.
Yes.
Phil Collins. So I play lefty because I thought that's how you set up a drum set when I saw Phil Collins play. So
There you go. There. Excellent. So what tracks are you guys looking forward to the most this year?
Dan,
We were on Road Atlanta just in the fall. That was a really fun track. Translates well from virtual racing. But honestly, I think the tracks that I haven't been to, I haven't been to Nashville. I haven't been out to Howlett. Eagles Canyon looks like a blast. So kind of looking forward to some new experiences there.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Eagles Canyon for me. I think that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I saw Hallett in the wet yet last year, and that was I hope that one's dry because that looks like it could be a fun track in the dry. But no, I'm looking forward to Eagles Canyon out of all of them. I've done NCM once, and I've done Road Atlanta a few times, so I'll be relatively comfortable in them. But Eagles Canyon is one I'm looking forward to. I think out of all of them.
Awesome. Obviously, this is not an inexpensive hobby or what have you. So we always like to give an opportunity for our teams to give some shout outs to their sponsors and or charities that they're working with. Do you guys have any for this year?
Not any kind of monetary sponsors. Sam Strano is well known in the Corvette community and had helped give some advice and some setup and parts for the car, but that's all we have.
Okay. Any charities you're working with, or just this One Lap charity for the most part?
Yeah, just the one lap.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate that. Brian, you got anything?
Yeah, I got another one for his Brian. So what have you told Dan to expect out of the event? What have you held from him to make it a surprise?
Some of the shenanigans that Scotty Kors can do on the transits. I've withheld some of those things that have happened just so it's a surprise for him because that was. I don't think anything really crazy happened last year, but you never expect it. So it's like the Spanish Inquisition. I really have told him about just what to look forward to with everybody as far as how the transits go and just how much fun, even while you're at the events, just all the vibe that there is there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And bonus points for Brian for giving us our first Monty Python reference out of all of our interviews.
It's true. Well, it seems like, I mean, we're about a weekend, a couple days away from arriving in South Bend. We look forward to seeing you guys there. What's the one, as we're wrapping this up, what's sort of the one thing that everybody should know about your team and that they should be looking for throughout the coverage this year?
Clean brake calipers for Dan. He's kind of threatened to be bringing a whole wash detail. If we had a trailer behind it, probably would be all wash stuff because he doesn't like a dirty car.
Ooh.
I think so. Look out for him cleaning up his brake calipers in between sessions, maybe. Sorry, Dan, I had to do that.
If you really want to make a really good impression on Brock, make sure you try and clean his car after every transit drive.
Okay.
I love it. He loves clean cars more than anything. So, yeah, go for that. Well, thanks so much for joining us, guys. It's been a pleasure talking with you, a pleasure getting to know you guys, and we look forward to bringing everybody the action in a couple of weeks and catching up with you, Dan, especially to see if it's all you thought it was going to be, or if you were curled up into a ball in the fetal position, rocking back and forth, saying he lied. So it will be wonderful to see. And thank you so much for joining us. So for the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, I'm Solomon. That's Dan. Those are the Bri-Eye. And we will see you next week in South Bend. Take care.
See you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.